In the darkness of the night, torches flickered on the high walls of the palace. The sound of clashing swords echoed in the misty air. This is the story of Prince Azar, who was ready to risk his life to save his father's kingdom. The kingdom of Noor was a peaceful and prosperous land, where the people lived in harmony under the rule of King Kamran. But this peace was shattered by the greed for power of the wicked minister, Shamsuddin. He poisoned the king and seized the throne for himself. Azar was away on a hunting trip at the time, but when he returned, he found nothing but his father's lifeless body. The palace walls had heard Azar's cries that day, and the ground had been soaked with his tears. But he did not break. He swore to avenge his father's death. However, this was no easy task. Shamsuddin's soldiers were everywhere, the palace gates were shut to him, and most of the kingdom's nobles now supported the usurper. Azar gathered his father's loyal allies. In the cover of night, hiding in forests and valleys, he strengthened his forces. He launched small attacks to weaken Shamsuddin's army. But Shamsuddin was cunning. He declared that whoever brought him Azar's head would be rewarded with gold. One night, while Azar and his men were hiding in a cave, an old soldier, his voice trembling, said, "My prince, the enemy is too powerful. We cannot hold out for long." Azar held back his tears and replied, "Should I retreat without avenging my father? Should I leave my people at the mercy of that tyrant? No. I will fight, even if it costs me my life." The next day, Azar and his warriors planned their assault on the palace. Under the cover of darkness, they entered through a secret tunnel. The streets ran red with blood, swords flashed, arrows whistled through the air, and the palace became a battlefield. Azar's sword was a storm of vengeance. At last, Azar reached the royal hall, where Shamsuddin awaited him, a poisoned sword in hand and malice gleaming in his eyes. "So, you've finally come, foolish boy." Shamsuddin sneered. "Your father tried to stop me too, and look where he is now, and where I am." Azar's eyes burned with fury. "My father was a true king, and I am here to settle his debt." Shamsuddin lunged at him, and their swords clashed violently, sending sparks flying. Azar fought with the fire of youth, while Shamsuddin relied on his cunning and experience. The battle raged on, both warriors wounded, neither willing to back down. At last, Azar feigned weakness, stepping back as if he was exhausted. Seeing an opportunity, Shamsuddin struck, but in that instant, Azar ducked and drove his sword straight into the tyrant's chest. Shamsuddin's eyes widened in shock. He opened his mouth as if to speak, but before he could utter a word, his body collapsed to the ground. As the remaining soldiers saw their cruel master fall, they surrendered. Cheers of victory filled the air as the people of Noor reclaimed their kingdom. And so, Prince Azar, the rightful heir, ascended the throne, not just as a ruler, but as a legend whose courage and sacrifice would be remembered for generations.